Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. I want to talk about some great news about the US economy. This affects everyone. This affects all of us. There's just some great news happening. So let's dive into this. One thing is household net worth is rising again. It had been falling over the past couple years for a lot of different reasons. We all know what the reasons were. Inflation was a big part of it. So household net worth means how much you're able to keep and not have to spend on stuff, basically. So things are starting to get a little more reasonable in prices in the economy. So household net worth is rising again. The job market is improving. I will go into a few reasons why the job market is improving. There's clear evidence of it. Artificial intelligence has not eliminated tens of millions of jobs. It's actually created jobs in technology, new tech jobs that deal specifically with artificial intelligence systems. Those jobs did not exist just 2 or 3 years ago. So the stock market in the past 2 years has gone up 53%. That's huge. And probably the most important thing in this list, no recession. Last year, it was pretty obvious that we were going into a recession. The reason we know that for sure is the Fed started lowering interest rates in September of last year. And in fact, they lowered interest rates a huge amount, 50 basis points in September of last year, because the economy was showing significant weakness, like we were going into a recession. So we are not going into a recession. The Fed lowered interest rates 3 times last year, a big one in September, and then 2 more decreases in the interest rates. Now, just to let you know, when the Fed lowers interest rates, it makes buying a car cheaper. It makes buying a house cheaper. It allows businesses to fund their projects cheaper. So lower interest rates allow more buying of things in the economy. And when things are being bought in the economy, it creates jobs because companies have to produce more to meet that extra demand. And so they have to hire, they at least have to stop laying people off, and they actually have to start hiring. So no recession. We're in good shape as far as that goes. So let's talk about how prices are going to actually stop rising and in some cases fall. If you can imagine prices falling. Grocery prices have already stopped rising, with one exception, eggs. Grocery prices are no longer shocking us with the massive increases. So I want to say something about why eggs are increasing in price. That's artificial. There was bird flu. There was bird flu widespread in the U.S. that took a lot of eggs off the market because of that. So that's temporary. That will come back. And as soon as the supply, in fact, this is a really important supply and demand issue. The eggs, the supply of eggs has suddenly dropped, has declined quite a bit. When demand stays the same and the supply drops of something, the price goes up. And so what has happened is the demand for eggs didn't change, but the supply shrank. So prices shoot up. That's how supply and demand works. If supply increases, the prices decline because there's a lot of supply. So people wanting to buy that have a lot of different choices, and so no one can raise prices because there's a lot of supply. So more supply means lower prices. Okay, so gas prices stopped rising too. We've all kind of noticed that. They're still a little bit high, but they have stopped rising. And the cool thing that's happening now is we are going back to the same energy policy we had in 2016 to 2020. The administration coming in and taking control of the government now is going to restart the same energy policy that we had in 2016 to 2020. And we had gas prices in our area $1.67 a gallon under that energy policy. That was between 2016 and 2020, $1.67 a gallon. Right now, they're about $3. I put some gas in my car today. It was about $3. I think $3.18 a gallon. So I'm hoping we're going to fall back down to $1.67. But the energy policy is being reset to the way it was in 2016 and 2017. Okay, so what does that do to prices of products? All products that are shipped by a vehicle, that can be a truck, a boat, by train, they all use fuel. Any products that have been shipped by by vehicles, those products no longer have to have a higher price to pay for the high gas prices. Now that the gas prices are falling, product prices will fall too, or at least they're not going to rise. And in many cases, they will start to fall. So anything shipped by vehicles, the prices are going to head down in a lot of cases. So that's energy. The new energy policy is really going to help us. Because when things get cheaper, we get to keep more of our money. and our household net worth rises because we can hold on to and not have to spend on rising prices. Inflation, inflation's going away. So another sign of good news is more jobs are being created. For example, onshoring due to supply chain shortages. We all remember that there were shortages of things during COVID because of the supply chain. The supply chain means we were buying products from other countries and having them imported. And there were shortages because we were relying on the supply chain to provide those instead of making the products here in our country. So here's what's happening now. The U.S. and the government has recognized that we cannot afford to be reliant on products coming from offshore. We have to be able to make them in our country so that we don't suffer shortages when the supply chain is disrupted because there's something going on in a foreign country. So onshoring of production means jobs have to be created here because we're bringing the manufacturing back to the U.S. Okay, another source of onshoring of manufacture back to the U.S. is due to tariffs. Countries countries have been notified, if you want to suffer tariffs, don't change what you're doing and we're going to impose tariffs on you. But if you want to take advantage of this offer, move your manufacturing inside the U.S. and we will not put tariffs on your products. So this worked the last time this same administration was in control of the government in 2016 to 2020. There was a lot of onshoring due to the threat of tariffs, especially in the automobile sector. There was a lot of, and heavy industries in general, there was a lot of onshoring of manufacturing jobs. So this is another source of job creation. This was one, a lot of manufacturing being brought back due to the fear of supply chain shortages. Another source of job creation, companies moving manufacturing into the U.S. to avoid tariffs. The third source of job creation, removal of undocumented people from the country. Regardless of how you feel about that issue, the fact is when there are fewer people in our economy to take jobs, U.S. citizens get the jobs, end up getting the jobs. So there will be a lot more job openings because of people being removed from the country, undocumented people being removed from the country. So 3 different sources for job creation. And like I said, the job market is improving, and these are the reasons. So 81% of U.S. chief executive officers are planning on onshoring. That's more than 4 out of 5 company executives, top executives, are onshoring. And so a lot of job creation will come from that. So do we have proof that the economy is improving? Absolutely. And this is one of the coolest things about what I wrote up here. This is absolutely one of the most encouraging things. Great news about the economy. We have proof that the economy is improving. So, for example, last year there was a fear by the Fed that a recession was incoming, was imminent. The Fed lowered interest rates to stimulate the economy, to make it easier to buy cars, make it easier to buy homes using borrowed money. They lowered interest rates. If the economy was declining right now, the Fed would lower interest rates right now, right? And they didn't. Yesterday, January 29th, the Fed did not change interest rates. They left interest rates unchanged. The reason is there are signs the economy is improving. They don't have to stimulate the economy. The economy is already stimulated. It's already the consumption, the purchase of autos and homes, etc. The buying of products in the economy is ongoing and it's healthy. So the Fed did not lower interest rates. There's actually talk that they may have to increase interest rates to slow the economy down later this year. That's just speculation right now. But the bottom line is we do have proof the economy is growing. The Fed did not lower interest rates yesterday. They left them alone. They don't have to stimulate the economy. Okay, so the bottom line is because of the job growth, all this job creation, watch for the unemployment rate to start falling. Right now it's 4.2% unemployment rate. When that starts to fall, you'll know we're seeing signs of job creation because of these 3 things. The removal of undocumented people means trades jobs, like in construction. A lot of those jobs are going to now go to U.S. citizens, and the unemployment rate is going to fall. More people in the U.S. will have jobs. That's a freaking good thing. That's a fantastic thing. In our economy, the more people who are working, who are employed, it reduces the stress in our culture, in our society. People are not as worried about being able to make ends meet. So if you're without a job right now, we have a lot to look forward to as we go along here. The Fed did not stimulate the economy. It's already doing fine. It's picking back up. So the other thing to watch out for is watch for gas prices to start dropping. This new energy policy that existed in 2016 to 2020 this is going to start kicking in and gas prices will start to drop. When gas prices start to drop, all products shipped by a vehicle will start declining in price. They certainly will not rise in price, and many products will actually drop in price because the supply will increase. So I hope this provided some encouragement. That was the intention. The intention was to give people encouragement that, hey, things are turning around. We have proof the economy is growing. The Fed did not lower interest rates. Things are looking up. Recession, no way is that happening. So, and if you're looking for work, there's a lot of signs it's going to become easier in the upcoming months. So keep your chin up if you're struggling a bit. Some people are, but we're all going to be in great shape. 6 months from now, we're going to be in fantastic shape. So if you have any questions about the data, how we got the data, you can post questions in the comments and I'll respond to those. And I really want to thank everyone for watching and have a great day.